Today we're going to do a pretty cool project here. We're going to add a protective serving where this string stopper contacts the string. This is a little bit of a lower end string, so one of the ways that the manufacturers save money is by they'll use a lesser grade material a lot of times, and fewer strands of it, and then sometimes things like this they'll skip over, by putting a little protection here. That saves a little bit of money, but it makes a big difference when you go to look at the longevity of the string. You get a lot more durability out of it if it has a serving here. So today we're going to add one of these servings. It's a pretty simple job. It'll benefit us in a couple ways. Obviously, it's going to help to extend the life of the string, but also it will give you practice in some techniques that are commonly used in other serving situations, like tying in peeps, or maybe if you want to replace a center serving, or even repair an end serving. The knots and some of the principles are pretty much the same, so it'll be beneficial in that way as well. And it doesn't require a whole lot of fancy tools or anything like that. It would be easier with a bow press, or a vise to hold the bow. But since I'm going to assume many of you don't have that equipment, or you might want to do this without it, we'll go ahead and do it here on the bench, with just some simple tools here. So I have those laid out for us, everything that we'll need, and we'll go ahead and have a quick look at that. So in this case, we have an 1/8 inch Allen wrench, and that's going to be to remove these set screws here. That could vary, how you remove the stopper. We're going to remove the string stopper so we have enough room to get in here and do the serving without a big hassle. These will vary, by manufacturer. This one just has 2 set screws here. A lot of them will have a similar design, where you remove a couple of set screws to get the stopper out. And the main thing you're looking for with that is to make sure you have enough of a gap in here, in this area, to get in here and hand wrap the serving. We won't be able to fit an actual serving tool in here because we won't have enough space to fit a tool. We could move these cables down and then make a tool that will fit in here to kind of open that gap up, but we're only going to do probably about 1.5 inches or so of serving in here, and we can do that by hand with no problem. So we won't take the extra time to put something in here to spread this out and use a serving tool. Although, if you have the option to use a tool without going through a big bunch of hassle, that's always preferable. You can get the serving on there tighter that way. So, some way to disassemble the stopper to get it out of the way. We have some basic serving here. This is BCY 3D serving. I'll go ahead and use black. This is it'll be a little harder to see, but I'm going to resell this string, so I want it to look halfway decent. So I'm not going to put on some kind of crazy color just for the sake of video. So hopefully we'll be able to see it good enough. You need a way to cut the serving. So I have a razor here and a knife. I'll probably use the knife, but either one that you're comfortable with will work fine. A lighter to melt the serving, and then a pair of forceps here to help tighten up our knots and hold the serving still. So that's the stuff that we're going to need. It's a pretty simple operation. There's a few things that you have to pay attention to, but let's go ahead and get started with it. So the first thing we'll do is remove these set screws. Well, we won't remove them. We'll just loosen them up. Okay, just enough to get the string stopper out of our way here. So again, we don't have to completely remove them from the riser. And that should probably do it there. Yep, the stopper's loose. So it's on a little bit of a bind. I'm not going to go too crazy here, but get it out of the way. And you can see that that removes the stopper for us. Now we'll have plenty of room to go ahead and put our serving on. We'll use this again here in a minute because we're going to use it to kind of identify where we want to put our serving, what area on the string. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get a piece of serving here. I want to make it about 2 feet long. You don't want to skimp on this. You don't want to make it too long, but don't make it too short either, because it'll be really tough to do the back serving at the end of it if you make it too short. So get a piece about 2 feet long, and we'll go ahead and start our serving now. Now, what we want to look at here is the string tension. The way this twist goes, if I twist this way, counterclockwise, this way, we'll put tension into the string, the way, towards the bottom, if we work that way. If I were to twist clockwise or to serve clockwise, it would loosen the tension. Now, this isn't going to probably be long enough or significant enough to do a lot of weird tensioning, but you always, to the string, but you always want to be aware of this. So what we're going to do is make sure that we're serving counterclockwise. So if anything, we're just putting a little bit of twist into the string instead of taking twist out. So to get started on that, it's pretty simple. You just lay the serving across the string this way, and since we're going to go counterclockwise, that's what we'll do. We'll just make a wrap counterclockwise, and then another one. And when I'm laying these in here, they're behind each other, working toward the axle or toward the cam. And there's 3, 4, and then 5 counterclockwise wraps. And I'll tighten that up a little bit. Now, what we'll do here is we'll use our string stopper as a guide for where we want our serving. And we can slide it up. I want to leave about a 1/4 inch above here. That way, if we make an adjustment for draw length or timing or that sort of thing, hopefully it will have enough extra here if it moves the string position around a little bit, that it will still hit our stopper. So that looks pretty good there. I'm going to go ahead and remove the string stopper now, get it out of our way, and I'll put 5 more wraps. I'm going counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I don't want to let this move around very much or anything. Go ahead and grab this and kind of tighten it down a little bit. And the same there. And what we'll do now is let this tag end just kind of fall back, and then we'll serve our way down the string. So I'll put about 3 wraps on there, and then snug it up and slide it down, and we'll just continue on like that until we make the distance that we want to make. So you want to keep this pretty neat here, and you want to keep it pretty tight as you work your way along. And don't let the serving overlap. Just one wrap behind the other, and make our way down. Try to keep the tag from getting tangled up there. Now, you could mark this string with like a Sharpie. Like in this case, it'd be a silver Sharpie, would show up good on the black. Usually I don't do that. What I'll do is I'll use the stopper, or like if I'm building a string or something, I'll use the stopper as a guide, or in this case, or if I'm building a string, I'll use an old string, or I'll use like a whip to mark it with. In other words, another piece of string or something like that. So I'm not marking up my string, and the reason why is because that ink will get all over your string, especially if you're using like a lighter color or a fluorescent color, and it will start to look pretty poor pretty quickly. So anyway, I kind of avoid that. I don't like having the ink all over. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and put the stopper back in, and I can use that as my guide. Now, if you want to mark your string or whatever, feel free. It works fine. Nothing wrong with it. It's just a matter of what you like to do. That takes a little bit more work, but in my opinion, it does a little bit better job. So we have the length that we want now. So what I'm going to do is work now on our back serving. So we're going to take 10 wraps off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so to start the back serve, and we took our wraps off, we'll come around like we're going to put another wrap on, but this time we're going to serve around, leave a loop here, and then we're going to serve back towards the center. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean back towards the main serving that we just put on. So we'll tighten that up, let the tag end lay down, and then we'll take a wrap off of here, off of the side where the cam is. Okay, and then so we take that wrap off, it'll go across this tag and then down to this serving, to our primary serving here. And then we'll just take off the 10 wraps, add them down here. And we want to keep them pretty snug and pretty neat. A little sloppy on me. Let me clean that up a little bit. Okay. Now, this tag, just go ahead and pull it through. Everything tight. And there we go. So that finishes that. Let's have a look at it. So you see how that looks. That'll get everything nice and tight. So that's the back serve. Now, to finish this, take our forceps or your needle nose or whatever you like. Some people wrap an arrow, piece of an arrow around, whatever, some way to get leverage. I prefer these, but you'll see it'll work any way that you choose as long as you do it this way. So wrap it up, and we want to put, when we want to pull in toward the center of our serving. That's going to get that nice and tight. Now you don't want to pull it so hard that you break the serving, and that is possible, even though this has good strength. If you really wrench on that, it could definitely break on you. So we'll do the same thing here. A couple rounds. I'm going to roll this the other way. So I come in behind the knot, and then I'm going to pull in toward the center. And there you go. And that'll tighten that up nicely. Now, the last things we need to do here are move this around a little bit. I'm going to cut this off. Generally, it's about a 1/4 of an inch. Cut this. Got a funny angle there. And we'll do the same with this one. Keep the blade parallel to your string. Don't get perpendicular. Okay, and always, again, use caution around your string with fire and with blades. We'll go ahead and burn these down. That one, and that one, and then that completes our serving. So let's have a look at it there. I'll try to get it. So that's going to offer up some good protection for our string. So now we need to reinstall the string stopper. I'll take the time. Again, this is a carbon fiber rod, so you don't want to chew it all up. by hitting it with the set screws over and over in a different spot. And it'll also help us align the string stopper the way it's intended to hit with the string. I'll talk a little more about that, but we'll take the time to go ahead and line that up, okay? And that way, when we tighten it back down, we're going to hit the same spot that it was originally in. Now, to adjust the stopper, you want just maybe the tiniest little bit of a gap in here. You don't want the string setting directly on the stopper. And you also don't want, you wouldn't want it pushed up like that. You want just a little bit of a gap, or maybe just slightly touching, but I would recommend something kind of about the width of a credit card. So once we have that kind of set up, double check it there, go ahead and start to tighten this down. Now, set this down so I can get to it easier. It's the usual with these. This is an aluminum riser, and these are steel set screws. So you want to get them nice and snug, but don't over tighten them and strip out the riser. Okay, so that should be good right there. And that will do it. So that looks pretty good. That's going to help extend the life of our string. And this, this technique here, this set of techniques, if you learn how to do these and master them, you will be able to use this same principles on a lot of different string type work, from tying in your peep to replacing the center serving, and a variety of other things. So good luck with it. Be careful, make sure you don't nick your string. And if you have any questions or anything, get in touch and I'll be glad to help you out.